Chapter 1, The Contract. The thing about hitting rock bottom is you don't always hear the crash. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's the click of a camera shutter. Sometimes it's the way your inbox fills with cold, corporate apologies from people who once called you brilliant, genius, the future of her field. And sometimes it's the man sitting across from you in a penthouse office that smells like leather and secrets, reading your resume like it's a joke. It's impressive, he says, folding the paper once, then again, too impressive for someone so thoroughly ruined. Lucian Blackthorne doesn't smile when he speaks. He never has, not in the interviews, not in the viral clips of him walking out of courthouses, and certainly not now. But there's something about him that makes you feel like he's constantly almost smiling, like there's some private punchline and you're the setup. I didn't come here to be insulted, I say, standing. No, he replies smoothly. You came here because your career's over and I'm your last lifeline. I hate that he's right. My name used to mean something. Not tabloid fodder, not viral memes, something serious. I was poised to launch a nonprofit that would shake up an entire sector. A whistleblower from inside a dirty tech conglomerate gave me the files. I was careful, smart. But someone got there first, edited the story, released a version that painted me as a manipulative opportunist trying to blackmail $1 billion company. The whistleblower vanished. My funding did too. And now I'm here, standing across from Lucian Blackthorne, black sheep heir of the infamous Blackthorne dynasty and man with more power than anyone ought to have, and he's offering me a deal. You said you had a proposition, I say tightly. Let's get to it. He gestures for me to sit again, folding his long frame into the chair like he owns not just the room, but gravity itself. His sharp features are carved from stone and shadow, cheekbones like cut glass, jet black hair always too neatly in place, and eyes, cold gray, like the ash of a fire that's long burned out. I need a fiancée, he says simply. The silence stretches. I blink. Excuse me? You heard me. He leans back, lacing his fingers. A fiancée. Temporary. 6 months. Strictly for appearances. You're joking. He doesn't blink. I'm not in the habit. A laugh bubbles out of me, dry, disbelieving. Why me? Because you're credible, you're educated, you clean up well, and you're desperate enough to consider it. Wow. Do you charm all your fake fiancés this way? You'd be the first. He tilts his head, studying me. Unless you're afraid of me, I'm not afraid of you. That comes out faster than it should. He smiles, no teeth, just a curve of his lips, thin and sharp. Good. Then listen closely. He slides a thin folder across the table. I don't reach for it yet. This is a contract, he says. It contains the terms. A 6-month engagement. We attend select public functions. There will be a written schedule. You will be compensated generously and provided with housing, wardrobe, security. I raise an eyebrow. And you will not develop feelings for me. My lips part. That's specific. Don't get clever, he says softly. This isn't a romance novel. I don't do messy. I don't do hearts. We play the roles, and when it's over, we walk away. I look down at the folder. I think of the news headlines. I think of my mother's voicemails that I haven't had the courage to return. I think of the landlord who gave me 3 more days, and the funders who ghosted me, and the way this entire city swallowed me whole and spit me back out. And then I meet his eyes again. He watches me like a man who already knows I'll say yes, and I do. 3 days later, I step into the Blackthorne estate, which is less of a house and more of a Gothic monument to generational power. This will be your room, says a tall woman in a black suit, gesturing at an entire suite bigger than my last apartment. Mr. Blackthorne prefers discretion. The staff are under strict NDA. I figured. She glances at me. Dinner is at 7. You're expected. Lucien is already seated when I arrive, wearing a black suit that fits him too perfectly for coincidence. He doesn't rise when I walk in, just gestures at the seat across from him. There are 3 forks. I pick the wrong one. He doesn't comment. Have you read the full contract? He asks as I bite into a roll that probably costs more than my phone bill. Yes. And I meet his eyes across the candlelit table. You're an ass. A pause. Then a laugh. It's dry and low, like it got dragged out of him against his will. Good, he says. You'll need to be able to say worse. Starting tomorrow, we're making our first appearance at the Callaway Gala. That's fast. He levels me with a look. You wanted this to be real, so now it is. He stands, and I follow instinctively, even though the food isn't finished. "One more thing," he says, pausing by the door. I stop too. He turns his head just slightly. "The press will call you a gold digger. Some will say you seduced me. Others will insist I forced you. And which story will you go with?" His voice is soft, almost kind. Almost. "I don't care about the story. I care about control." And then he turns away, leaving me in a room full of light, but somehow colder than the dark. That night, I read the contract again. Every word is precise, cold, legal. But at the bottom of the last page, just beneath the signatures, there's one handwritten line in ink that wasn't there before. Temporary means nothing if you forget it. It's not signed, but I know who wrote it. And I know deep down I should be afraid. Not of the press, not of the contract, but of what happens if Lucian Blackthorne starts meaning more than he should. Because I don't think he breaks hearts the usual way. I think he breaks them without even trying. Chapter 2, Public Lies, Private Rules. The first thing I learned about being Lucian Blackthorne's fiancé was this: everyone is watching. The second, none of them believe it's real. Not that I blame them. The Callaway Gala is the kind of event that drips with inherited wealth and generational cruelty. People don't smile here unless they're planning something, and no one shows up without a motive. Lucian and I arrive in a sleek black car that reflects the strobe of cameras like lightning. The moment we step out, the crowd swells. Flashbulbs explode. Questions pierce the night. "Lucian, is she the reason you turned down the Maxwell merger?" "Miss Vale, how long have you two been engaged? Is the Blackthorne heir finally in love?" I glance at Lucian. He doesn't flinch, doesn't even blink. He offers me his arm. I take it. His grip is firm, cold, controlled. We walk past the reporters like gods descending a mountain, but I can feel every eye on me, every whisper curling at my back like smoke. "That's her? She's not even from old money." "She's a rebound, obviously. He's playing a game." They say it like I'm not real, like I'm part of a performance, which technically I am, but I'm not the only one acting. Inside the ballroom, it's all marble floors and venomous smiles. "Stay close," Lucian says under his breath. To keep up the illusion, his lips twitch just slightly, to avoid the people who'd love to watch you fall. He disappears into the crowd before I can ask what that means. I spend the next 20 minutes sipping expensive champagne and pretending I'm not completely out of my depth. I've played in high society before, galas, fundraisers, but not like this. Not with a man like him. When he finally returns, he has a champagne flute in one hand and a steel-laced smile in the other. Ready to be paraded? Not particularly. Tough. He offers me the glass. We're being watched. We mingle. We pose. We talk to socialites with smiles like switchblades and old men who try not to look at my chest when they shake my hand. Lucien plays the part perfectly. He touches the small of my back when he's supposed to. He laughs at just the right volume. He lets the camera catch the exact angle of his face that says "mine" without saying anything at all. But he never looks at me. Not really. Not until "Miss Vale," says a voice, silk over steel. A woman steps forward. Platinum hair, a crimson dress that fits like a glove. "How lovely to see you." Lucien tenses beside me. I don't know who she is, but I can feel the danger ripple off her like perfume. "This is Evelyn Roth," he says shortly. "An old family acquaintance." "I see you've upgraded," she murmurs, eyes dragging over me. "At least this one's not bought from a modeling agency." Lucien's jaw ticks. I smile. Saccharine. "And you are? Oh, you must be the ex who still thinks she's relevant." Lucian coughs into his drink. Evelyn's eyes go flat. "Be careful, darling. Lucian tends to lose interest quickly." I lean in. "And yet you're still talking about him." She stalks off, heels like gunshots on the marble. Lucian turns to me slowly. "What? That was reckless. She insulted me." He studies me as if I'm something that doesn't quite fit into the equation he wrote. "You're not what I expected. Neither are you." The gala ends late, but not soon enough. Lucian is silent during the ride back to the estate. I don't speak either until I hear it. His hand tapping against the seat, rhythmic, controlled, almost like a metronome, a pianist's habit. "Do you play?" I ask softly. He stiffens. The tapping stops. I don't anymore. The air thickens, full of something I can't name. The next day, we leave the city for an estate in Haldenridge, one of the Blackthorn family's old properties, where Lucian is hosting a weekend gathering of key investors and potential allies, which I've learned are code words for manipulators in expensive suits. It's more remote than I expected. A grand, ivy-covered manor that looks like it belongs in a Gothic novel. You'll be staying in the East Wing, says the housekeeper. I follow the winding hallway until she stops in front of a double door. This is the master suite. I frown. There must be a mistake. I thought. Lucian's voice cuts in behind me. No mistake. I turn. He's leaning against the doorframe like he owns time itself. There's only one suite suitable for a couple, he says. We'll manage. Define manage. We won't be in it at the same time, if that's what you're worried about. I'm not sure if it is. Night falls and I can't sleep. The room is too quiet, too soft. The sheets smell like cedar and something expensive. At 2:14 a.m. I hear it. Music. I get up, barefoot, and follow the sound down the hall. Lucian is in the drawing room alone, sitting at a grand piano. He doesn't see me. His head is bowed, hands gliding over the keys with quiet, precise agony. The melody is haunting. Raw, like something pulled from a dream you'd rather forget. He finishes and sits there, hands still on the keys. One of them is trembling, only slightly. But it's enough. He sees me then. Neither of us speaks. I thought you didn't play anymore, I say. His expression doesn't change. You're not supposed to be here. And yet, here I am. He looks at his hands, then stands. The tremble vanishes into his posture like it never happened. Go to bed. Lucian. He walks past me, stopping just long enough to say, some things are better left untouched. The next evening, the estate hosts a formal dinner. It's all wine and veiled threats. Lucian sits beside me, his hand resting casually on my lower back beneath the tablecloth. It's subtle, but it burns. When I shift slightly, his fingers tighten. Protective. Possessive? Or just calculated? Later, as we return to the suite, I unclip my earrings in front of the mirror. My dress pools around my feet. The room is silent except for the quiet click of his cufflinks hitting the dresser. I reach for the zipper on my back and struggle. Need help? He says, voice low. I pause. It's fine. But he's already behind me. His fingers brush the skin of my upper back. The zipper slides down, inch by inch. His breath is warm, his hands steady, too steady. I don't move. Neither does he. The moment stretches. Then quietly, why are your hands shaking? I ask. He steps back like I burned him. You should sleep, he says, his voice hollow now. We have a long day tomorrow. He disappears into the adjoining room, and I stand there half undressed, heartbeat loud in my ears. What is he hiding? Whatever it is. I don't think it's me he's trying to protect. I think it's himself. For someone who claims not to care what people think, Lucian Blackthorn is remarkably good at hiding. Not physically, he walks into every room like he owns it, like gravity bends for him, but behind the scenes, he vanishes. Cleanly. Strategically. The more I play his fiancée, the more I realize the real Lucian isn't the one the world sees. And the Lucian the world doesn't see. He's surrounded by ghosts. It starts innocently, or at least that's what I tell myself. He's gone all day, wrapped in meetings with names I've only ever seen on Fortune 500 lists. I'm left at the estate with too much time and too little trust. So I explore. The East Wing is older than the rest of the house, dusty, less curated. Where the walls don't just hang portraits, they hang secrets. That's where I find it. A locked drawer in an antique desk. The key, stupidly, is in a nearby book, The Art of War. Classic Lucian. Inside the drawer is a folder, thin, worn, and labeled Estate Whitlock Incident. My fingers hesitate. I open it. There are photos, newspaper clippings, a death certificate. Samuel Blackthorn, age 29, deceased. Lucian's uncle died in a car accident. But the article is vague. The car was burned, the brakes failed, the Blackthorns never made a public statement. Then, further down, a letter, torn at the edges. You can't keep blaming yourself for what happened to him. It wasn't your fault, but walking away from Theo after the funeral, that was a choice. Theo, Lucian's brother. I remember reading something about him, a brief blip in a business article. An innovator, the one with a conscience, and the one who apparently hasn't been seen at a Blackthorn event in over 4 years. I'm putting the pieces together when I hear it, the click of the door. I freeze. Lucian stands in the doorway. His expression doesn't shift, but his eyes darken. Storm gray, and suddenly bottomless. What are you doing? His voice is low, controlled, and more dangerous than if he'd shouted. I closed the folder, guilt scorching through me. I was just going through my things. I didn't mean you meant to. His tone sharpens. Don't lie to me. He strides across the room, rips the folder from my hands. His face is still unreadable, but there's something brittle in the air now, something breaking. You had no right, he says, voice flat. You've lied to me since the beginning. We have an arrangement, not a confessional. I'm supposed to play your doting fiancé, Lucien. Don't you think I should know the kind of man I'm pretending to love? That lands harder than I mean it to. His breath catches, just a fraction. Then, you want to know what kind of man I am? I'm the kind who knows better than to trust anyone, the kind who watched his family destroy each other from the inside out. I learned young that love is just leverage wrapped in pretty words. Is that what happened with Theo? His eyes flash. You don't get to say his name. You walked away from your own brother. And you think you understand why? Because you read one letter? I'm trying to understand you. Don't. His voice breaks then, just slightly. I told you not to dig, he says, quieter now. You wanted to play fiancé? Then stay out of things you don't understand. He turns away. And just like that, the door closes behind him. The silence afterward is deafening. I sit there for a long time, folder gone, questions louder than ever. I didn't expect him to react like that. I expected coldness, indifference, not hurt, not that flicker in his eyes of betrayal, of pain. It would have been easier if he had shouted, but it's his silence that lingers. It feels like punishment or protection. I don't know which scares me more. That night, sleep evades me again. The house is still. Moonlight spills across the floor in pale ribbons. Then I hear it, the piano. I slip out of bed, barefoot, heart thudding as I follow the sound. It pulls me like a tether down the long corridor to the drawing room. He's there again. Lucien, alone at the piano. But tonight, it's different. Tonight, the music isn't careful. It isn't composed. It's raw, painful. A melody that doesn't belong in concert halls, it belongs in memories that never healed. In letters that were never sent. In the space between brothers who haven't spoken in years. The song curls through the room like smoke, and I feel it in my bones. Grief, guilt, rage, and love, buried so deep it can't breathe unless it's music. Lucien doesn't see me, and I don't announce myself. I just stand there, listening. And for the first time since we met, I think I see him. Not the villain the world warns me about. Not the polished fiancé he pretends to be. But the boy who lost too much. The man trying not to lose anything else. Chapter 4, The Mask Slips. I didn't mean to defend him, not at first. It just happened. A small press brunch, the kind where gossip masquerades as journalism. Lucien's PR team had organized it to smooth over recent tensions with the Everhart family. Something about a withdrawn investment. I was supposed to smile, sip overpriced coffee, and keep my answers clean and vague. But then they asked about him. Miss Vale, Lucien Blackthorne is known for being unpredictable. Should the public really believe he's changed? Are the rumors true that the engagement is just a tactic to soften his image for the board vote next quarter? The old me, the cautious, calculated version, would have danced around it, would have offered some clever platitude, turned the focus back to wedding plans or how private we like to keep our relationship. But something inside me shifted. I looked up. Calm. Direct. Lucien Blackthorne doesn't need to change to be respectable. What he's done for the Blackthorne Foundation in the last 6 months alone is more than most board members have done in 6 years. And no, I didn't agree to this engagement to make him look good. I agreed because I see more in him than the headlines ever will. There was a silence. A heavy, electric one. Someone cleared their throat. Someone else typed faster. And I realized I wasn't pretending when I said it. Not entirely. Later that day, Lucien found me in the greenhouse of the Halden Ridge estate. I saw the footage, he said, arms crossed loosely over his chest. You defended me. I shrugged, feigning indifference. Seemed like the fiancé thing to do. He stepped closer. You didn't have to go that far. Neither did you when Evelyn Roth called me a social climbing amateur at the gala, and you nearly tanked a partnership with her father out of spite. He huffed, almost a laugh. Touché. He didn't thank me, not with words, but his expression softened. Just a little. Enough that I felt it, the shift, like a storm deciding whether or not to pass. It happened that evening. The incident, We were walking through the town square near the estate, a brief, rare moment outside the suffocating world of wealth and wine-stained lies. I was looking at a street artist painting wolves in oil and ash when I felt it. A hand on my wrist, too tight. A man, lean, early 40s, forgettable face, but a chilling smile. "You're the Blackthorn girl," he said. "The fake one." I tried to pull back. "Excuse me?" "Just wanted to see what's so special. Pretty face, but I've seen prettier. You think wearing his ring makes you untouchable?" Before I could answer, before I could even move, Lucien was there. He didn't shout. He didn't posture. He just struck. One hit. Jaw. Clean. The man went down hard. Lucien grabbed his collar, yanked him up, shoved him into the nearest wall. Brick scraped skull. The man groaned. Lucien's voice was ice. "Touch her again and they'll have to ID you by your teeth." People were watching. Someone gasped. I was frozen. He didn't stop until I touched his arm. "Lucien," I said quietly, "that's enough." He released the man, who slumped and scrambled away. Lucien's hands were shaking. So was I. But not with fear, with something closer to knowing. Because for a moment, I didn't see the composed villain or the aloof fiancé. I saw him, wild, unraveling, scared of something far more dangerous than a threat to me. Scared of himself. That night, I found him on the balcony outside our suite. Hands braced on the stone railing, head down, the muscles in his jaw tight enough to snap bone. "You think I overreacted," he said without looking at me. "No." He turned. His eyes were unreadable. "I saw the way you looked at me after, like I was a monster." "I didn't," I said, stepping closer. "I saw a man who was scared. His laugh was sharp, bitter. I'm not scared of him." "I didn't say you were." Silence stretched between us, cold and brittle. Then, "I had a friend," Lucien said. "When I was younger, he worked for my family. He was loyal. I trusted him." His fingers curled into fists. "One night, he came to me, said he overheard something, that my uncle's car had been tampered with. He wanted to go to the police." My heart slowed. He never made it. He looked at me then, and it wasn't anger in his eyes, it was grief. "They said it was a coincidence, that it was just an accident. But it wasn't. And I was the one who told him to go. I encouraged him. I thought doing the right thing would matter, that the truth would protect us." I didn't know what to say, so I didn't say anything. I just reached out and took his hand. He flinched, but he didn't pull away. The contact was tentative, like touching flame and not knowing if it would burn or warm. His voice dropped to something barely audible. "That's why the contract exists. That's why I set rules, because I needed someone close who couldn't betray me." My fingers tightened around his. "You think I'm here just because of a contract?" "You shouldn't be," he said. "Not anymore." His other hand came up slowly, brushed a strand of hair from my cheek. The moment was intimate but not polished, not calculated, raw, painfully human. Then he whispered something I didn't expect. "Don't look at me like that. You'll make me believe this is real." And he stepped back, leaving me cold, breathless, and a little more broken than before. The story is far from over. Lucien's past is a maze of shadows, and with every step closer to the truth, the danger grows. The fragile thread between us stretches, ready to snap. What's real? What's fake? And who can we trust when even love feels like a game? Part 1 has only scratched the surface. Don't miss what's coming next. Secrets. Secrets will be revealed, hearts will be tested, and the stakes, they've only just begun. Stay tuned for Part 2.